Russ Gaspard here from MDF3 1412, and this is week 2. So here are my project revisions. The cosmetic changes requested. One of the changes was to change the layout and standard notification to also show album art, and happily that's something I had already done. So if we're looking at my app here in the emulator, we can see that each track has its own graphic, and in fact that's reflected in the notification as well. I handled the image issue, the album art issue, by just creating a member variable in my custom class here. The second cosmetic change was to create a layout that worked in both landscape and portrait. Droid at screen here. I can't really show this in the emulator. My emulator I'm running, for whatever reason, doesn't like to rotate properly in a different layout. Because the functionality is exactly the same, I've actually not had to do a whole lot to enable the two different layouts. I just built a different version of my fragment as far as the XML is concerned, and happily the Java object gets to stay the same. It's just grabbing onto a different skeleton when it puts together that fragment. For functional changes, I did add the seek bar as requested, and it works really well. So that was really fun. It responds appropriately to any situation. And in fact, when I bring the UI back up for my notification, it grabs right back on and always keeps a nice display. Here's my function to update the seek bar. It's called start progress, and I have a stop progress, of course. I experimented with a few different ways to accomplish this, and it turns out using this timer object was really one of the most straightforward. The second functional change was to add the toggle for looping. So I did create a checkbox here, and it works as prescribed. So I can start my loop, and anytime I go previous or next, it'll just restart the loop. So there it started the same track over. Loop mode, and I can unloop it. And of course it's going to maintain that state, whether it's looped or not. The looping capability I actually used a shared preference. And this was a really straightforward way to do it. I just save whether it's in loop mode or not as a preference, and then each time I launch the fragment, I check the preferences and make sure that's reflected properly, and check the checkbox if need be, and then in my service, whether it's running or not, I can set the loop state and change that little internal variable. The most challenging thing I had was just to figure out what was the best approach to accomplish certain things. We're deep enough into this now that there's more than one way to accomplish the same objective, so I always like to screw around and try to determine what's the most efficient way, or what way makes the most sense to me. And I know different programmers have different styles, but this was fun, and looking forward to the rest of the course. Thanks.